guys, so today's video is going to be my first impressions or review on the L'Oreal Lumi Cushion Foundation. I recently picked this up at my local drugstore and I mentioned to you guys on my vlog channel and told you guys that I wanted to do a review on it, and some of you said for me to do a review on it because you guys know I have oily skin and also acne prone skin, so I figured it would be cool to kind of try it out. This product is a product that I have never really went towards, just because it's a Lumi Cushion kind of luminous finish foundation. But I've been seeing so many people talk about this foundation and how great it is, even if you have oily prone skin. I'm going to read you guys some of the claims that this foundation is claimed to do and all that kind of stuff. But if you guys want to see more about this foundation, how it covers, the coverage, everything like that, and what I think about it and my thoughts, then please keep watching. So this is the Lumi Cushion foundation. It just looks like this, and by the way, I kind of just picked this product up because the packaging was just so cute and pretty to me. It's this rose gold packaging with the white on it, and it also has Lumi in a rose gold, and I just think it's so cute. It's so compact. It's very compact, so you can like put it in your purse to travel with or anything like that. The only thing is that I think that the packaging is kind of hard to open. To get the actual feeling of how to actually open it, it's not that hard, but when you first open it, it's kind of hard to open. But it is just this packaging. It just opens like this, and it also comes with this little like sponge thing that I guess you put your fingers through and you kind of just dab. That is what the claims on the website say, to kind of just pat it in a patting motion, I guess, kind of like a beauty blender technique. And then it also has like this cover lid right here, and then it actually had a plastic on it, but I went ahead and took it off and threw it away because it was like kind of hard and I had to use scissors and stuff, so I just kind of took it off. But this is how the inside looked. The inside looks very interesting. When I first saw pictures of this, I thought it was hard, but it's an actual sponge submerged in foundation. So when you actually press on it, it's very moist and wet. I don't know how sanitary that's going to be, but I think it's probably going to be more sanitary than probably like a foundation that doesn't have a pump or something on it. But it just looks like this. It kind of looks kind of funny. And then it looks very dark. Like this foundation color looks very dark, but I think this foundation is a very good match for me. Forgot to mention the color. This is C3. And normally in the Lumi True Match foundation, I believe I'm at N2, I think. I'm not too sure. But this is the shade I picked just because it was the lightest shade and it was kind of the only shade that was at my drugstore. So I just decided to pick this one up. So yeah, that is the packaging. I am not going to be using this sponge because I feel like I just wouldn't use this sponge anyways. I would always use my beauty blender. No matter what foundation I use, I always use my beauty blender, so I am going to be using that today. Foundation ranges from 12 different shades. So in my local drugstore there was only about 6, but I heard that there is about 12 different shades. That's what it says on their website. It says it suits all skin type, style, and sensitive skin. So it suits all skin styles, as far as oily skin, sensitive skin, all that kind of stuff. It says it's just sheer to buildable full coverage, so that means that you can build it up to a full coverage finish, or you can just wear it sheer for every single day, which is probably what I'll be doing. But I do want to see how this builds as well. And it does retail for $16.99. I had got it at H-E-B. If you guys live in Texas, that's where I got mine from. I haven't seen mine at Walmart or anything, so I don't know. It probably is about the same, but I believe it ranges from everywhere around the world. This foundation is actually the highest price in the whole L'Oreal collection. So the other foundations like the L'Oreal True Match, Lumi, all that kind of stuff normally ranges from $9.99 to $10.99, so or $8 to $10. So this is the one that's the most priciest. Like I said, it was $16.99. And I forgot to mention you do get a mirror with it, so that's really cool. I guess you can just like use it on the go, I guess, if you really wanted to. I mentioned I'm going to be using a beauty blender. This is actually the Real Techniques beauty blender or beauty sponge, whatever you want to call it. I did go ahead and wet it, and I'm not going to be using a primer just because I want to see how this foundation works on its own. Normally I will just use like a smoothing primer or a mattifying primer, but since I'm more oily, I wanted to see how this works with giving me a natural luminous glow. I'm just going to be using my bare skin just to see how it works. So the thing that I really like about it is that if you're using a beauty blender, you can just literally dab it in there and you get your product. So I'm going to be applying it. So right off the bat, you can see that it has really good coverage. That's like barely even putting any on. But since this foundation is a buildable coverage, I'm guessing that you can get like really good coverage, because on the website it says buildable to full coverage. So this is the full application of how the foundation looks. I did build it up in some areas, so like over here where I have my breakouts, I did build it up there, and the coverage wasn't really building up, it was just kind of staying the same. It just gave like a little bit of coverage, but as you guys can see, you could still kind of see my redness peeking through on some parts of my face. I don't know if you guys can really tell. I hope you guys can tell, but my lighting might be a little too bright, so you might not be able to tell. But the coverage is really good. I just feel like this would be more of an everyday foundation. It's not going to be something that you would necessarily go out to like an event or something where you want like full coverage. And I really like how it feels on my face. It feels very fresh and refreshing. I feel like this is going to be really awesome for every single day to like run errands and stuff. Even though I am oily, I feel like sometimes when I'm doing very minimal makeup, I like my face to be very luminous and glowy just to look healthy, because when I have very minimal makeup, I don't want it to be matte, because then it's going to look kind of dry and crepey sometimes. So the finish is actually, it's kind of like a satin finish, but I feel like it's more on the matte side. So I don't really see like a luminous glow or anything. The only parts I see glow is kind of like right here on my nose, but that's about it. And this foundation dried really fast, which is kind of nice, because sometimes when you're in a rush, you just want to go right out the door with any foundation that is kind of like an everyday base foundation, which I feel like, again, that this is something that you would use for every single day. And I don't know, I really like it. It feels really nice. It's starting to feel less sticky, which I really like. That if you try to apply this with a brush, it might not look as, I guess, like full coverage or give the coverage that you really want, because the brush normally sometimes creates streakiness, and when you create streakiness with the brush, it kind of defeats the purpose of coverage. Like if you use a sponge, that would probably be the more ideal thing to do, because as you guys can see with a beauty blender, this is the coverage it gave me, and a beauty blender for me gives me more coverage than a brush does, which is really weird because I know it's usually the opposite for some people. And to this foundation, I feel like if you were to use it with a brush, it would probably look a little streaky, because with the beauty blender, it does look like flawless, but on my nose a little bit, when I just tried to do a different technique and like go like this instead of patting it, like if I was using a brush, and it started to get a little streaky right here. So I feel like with a sponge, that would be the best thing to do, especially since this foundation dries really fast. I feel like it won't give you time to work with it with a brush than it will with a sponge, because it'll create that streakiness in your foundation. So I would just recommend using a sponge more than anything. And if you want, you could use this. I just personally wouldn't use this, because I feel like you don't you'll be dabbing it into here and then putting it on your face, and especially with me with acne prone skin, I don't want to create bacteria back into this, because I feel like it'll just keep repeating itself and creating bacteria into the little container, and I don't want to do that. But if you have normal skin and you don't have problems with your skin, maybe you might want to try this. And then also I wouldn't use this because I feel like there's no way of washing this particular product, and with my beauty blenders I wash them like every once a week. I'm going to do the rest of my makeup to show you guys the finished effect, so I will be back to show you guys. So I finished my makeup. I just did something very neutral and simple, something that I would probably wear with this foundation look. As you guys can see, it still looks like skin, and I'm obsessed with this foundation. I think it's so like lightweight and pretty. The only thing I have to say about this foundation is when I was applying it and I was applying my blush and my bronzer, I feel like it was kind of taking away the coverage. I don't really know why that is, but I did set it where I put my bronzer and highlight because I didn't want to set my foundation anywhere here because I want to see how it works with my oils, which most likely it probably won't work that well with my oily skin. But this is a foundation that I tend to wear no more than 5 hours, so maybe something that I would use to run errands or something like that, because normally foundations that are more luminous on me that I've tried don't really work past like the 5-hour mark. So this is definitely not a foundation I plan to wear like on a night out, like when I'm going to be sweating, stuff like that. This is something that I'm going to wear now during the winter when my skin's a little bit more on the drier side, but something that I'm going to be using for every single day. And then I feel like also it made my pores stand out, but I think that's just not the foundation. I think that's probably just my skin, because usually when I do wear other foundations, it always makes my pores stand out because I have really big pores. But like I told you guys, I use no primer, so that's probably why, because I always apply like a pore minimizing primer like the Benefit Professional or the Smashbox pore minimizing, or something that minimizes my pores. So I feel like that's why I feel like my pores are really standing out. As I'm looking in the mirror, I could still see my redness, so I don't know if it's picking it up on camera because I won't be able to tell until I look back at the footage, but I can still see my redness where my breakouts are, just a little bit though. But I don't mind that because this is a foundation that, like I said again, I'm going to be wearing on a day-to-day basis, and it's not going to look like full-on full coverage, you know what I'm saying? So I think with this foundation, I like that in a foundation, because if I want to go for a full coverage foundation, I might as well just go to Estee Lauder Double Wear, which is what I use every single day. So I want to have a balance between a foundation that I really love that can be used for every single day, that's kind of a medium coverage, but also a foundation that's full coverage. I also feel like this foundation would be really good if you're just running out the door and you just want to even out your whole entire skin tone and you want to cover something. I feel like this foundation will look really pretty just like with this foundation on and nothing on the eyes, no brows, no nothing. I also feel like it would look really pretty like that as well, just to run out the door if you're planning to go run errands or something. You don't want to apply the rest of your makeup. This foundation will be perfect for that as well, because sometimes when I'm running out the door and I just want like a foundation that's going to even out my skin tone, I necessarily don't want to go on a full coverage foundation, because then it's going to look like too much. It's going to look like, oh my god, she has so much foundation on but she has nothing on her eyes, you know. So I think this foundation is also really good for that. And as far as that, I really like this foundation. I like the way it looks. I like the way it feels. It feels very lightweight. It feels like I don't have anything on, which is amazing. And I don't think I have ever tried a foundation that's like this or similar to this. The only one that I think that's kind of might be really close is the original L'Oreal True Match. I have not tried the True Match Lumi. But yeah, I really like how it looks so far. And I think this is going to be one of my new favorite everyday foundations. And I think with the pore minimizing primer, I'm probably going to like it even more. But I'm going to wear it for a couple of hours and update you guys down in the description bar to let you know how it worked, how I feel about it, if I plan on still using it. So make sure to check the description bar to look out for what my final thoughts of it were. But as far as you guys know, right now I do love it and I do like the way it looks. So yeah, check the description bar if you have oily skin, and I will tell you like if it may be shiny, anything like that. And I plan on wearing it. It is currently 5 o'clock. I think I'm going to wear it for about 5, 6, 7, 8, probably about 5 hours. So I will definitely update you down in the description bar. Make sure you check that. Other than that, that is it for this review and first impressions on the Lumi Cushion Foundation. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And also don't forget to check all my social medias down in the description bar. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Guys, so I'm going to lunch now. I feel like I wasn't even at work that long, but I decided to go to lunch because our store is literally so dead. I think it's because we're remodeling our store, so a lot of customers I guess don't want to shop because the store is so crowded because they're like literally remodeling and painting walls and stuff. So I think that's probably